So welcome to my YouTube channel. That's what we call the good life. I'm going to be talking about the jobs you can do in February on your allotment. And you know what I'm going to say, if you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get all the helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment, and also my home kitchen. Now, it's up at the allotment. It's actually quite a mildish day today. We've had some really cold days. I've been doing some jobs up here, and I'm going to be going through some of the jobs I've done and some of the jobs I'm going to be doing over the coming month, and jobs that you could be doing too. One job I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be chitting my potatoes. To chit or not to chit, that is the question. I'm obviously not going to do it up at my allotment, but I will put it on to the end. We'll go back home and I'll show you how I chit my potatoes, because lots of people are asking, and there's lots of truths and myths on how you chit potatoes, and I want to make sure that everyone gets it right and gets fantastic potatoes this year. So we start off with the rhubarb. Rhubarb's doing really well. If you've not already, you can put some, we put some manure over it to help. We put a lot on last year, so I'm not sure we're going to put any on this year, but we might chuck a little bit more on. It's a really good time to split your rhubarb and share it with people if you want to give some away. And if you've not planted any rhubarb, if you can get yourself a rhubarb crown, now is a really good time to plant it. Just make sure that you plant it down nice and deeply and you backfill all around it. Same if you were to take a bit off of it, because the last thing you want is if we get any frost or snow to go down into the bottom and for it to affect it. So yeah, if you do it, make sure you backfill it back up again. My rhubarb's fine, so the most I'll do is pop some more manure over it if I get time. A lot of this time of the year, it's all about just doing a little bit. If I didn't do it for mine, it would be fine, but I probably will chuck another barrel for over. So as we move down, I've already done my raspberries. So I've pruned my raspberries. So if you've not done them, you really must do them in February. If you leave it any later than February, then you're leaving it a little bit too late. If you don't know how to do it, I have got a video on it. So if you just go back a little bit, it's not that far back, you can watch that too. Might even tag it onto this video. Same with things like your gooseberries and black currants. They really need to be pruned. If you've not done those, you really need to be getting them done in February. It's an absolute must do. Something we did last year is we put paper and cardboard in and around our berries, and we covered it with rotted manure. It worked really well, because you have so much allotment, it's really hard to weed everywhere, and we find that this kind of like grassy bit grows into the main part, and when we put the card or the paper sacks from the chickens down and then mulched over the top of it, it really created a barrier and stopped it being so weedy and for weeds spreading into this part of the allotment. So we're doing it again. We've just started putting the cardboard down, but we need to get some more, and we'll come up here another time to put the manure over, but we have to wheelbarrow quite a way down our allotment plot to get our animal manure, and I'm really tired from digging today, so I'm not going to be doing that. So we've just popped some bricks on it just to hold the cardboard down so it doesn't blow away if we get a windy day. So one of those jobs where you think it won't blow away, but it probably will. So other jobs I've been doing, I haven't got an awful lot left on the allotment now. I've harvested most of it, but that is deliberate. One, it's not all going to carry on for much longer, and two, you need to get it out of the ground because you need to start preparing your ground for next year. So I dug another 2 rows of leeks this week, and then when I've eaten those leeks, I will dig these 2 rows, and then that will be completely clear. I cleared my carrots and my beetroot. Unfortunately, like a lot of people, lots of things have been really badly affected by the frost, and although the carrots, the few that I had, were fine, unfortunately the beetroots had almost rotten when we had that really unbelievably out of season, very cold weather. And I know some people that have got some brassicas and cauliflowers in particular, and the bad weather completely ruined them, which was completely heartbreaking. But it happens from time to time. You're going to lose the odd thing. The kale I will leave a little bit longer, but I will have that out probably again in the next month or so, because although I've only got a little bit of kale on it, this time of the year it doesn't grow very quickly anyway. When it does start sprouting again, it goes to seed quite quickly, and I want to prepare this ground ready for my potatoes is what I'm trying to do. So one of the jobs you're thinking of doing is you're trying to clear your allotment ready for planting for next year. So you're clearing, you're preparing, and getting ready. If you want to put any manure down, put some manure down. All that kind of thing, trying to improve the soil. Something that I do is I put ground cover down. It does 2 things, in fact it does quite a few things. It stops the weeds from growing, which is really awesome, and it also warms the ground up a little bit, which is really useful, and it kind of brings you a step ahead of everyone else, you know. So I've dug this whole section Not all today, I might add. I've dug it in small bits, and I'm going to be covering that to hopefully stop the weeds from growing and to keep the ground warm. If we move down, I'll show you an example of how good the weed suppressant works in case you're in any doubt. If we just move down here. So all this would have been dug about the same time. Now we have weeded that little bit there a little bit, but this bit we've not touched yet. So we covered this after we dug it, and if you can see the difference between the two, you can see all these weeds are growing all up here, and where we've got it covered, there's hardly anything. A couple of little scrappy bits there, but you know, and that's the big difference. The other thing, it keeps the ground moist underneath, so when you do then go to lift it to start to dig, it makes it a lot easier. I've had some years where right in and around planting season we get a really dry spell, and if you've covered your ground and you've dug it a little bit first, and even if you've not had a chance to dig it, if you've only covered it, it creates a little bit of heat and moisture underneath and makes it such a lot easier to dig it. There were people last year that basically didn't get half of their plots dug over and prepared in time because the ground was so incredibly hard, because it was so incredibly dry. So this stuff's really good. I will put a link in the description because I love it so much and I recommend that everyone uses it. I use it year after year, so all these bits I'll fold back up when I start planting, and then I'll put them back down at the end of the year. So you reuse them every year, and over time I've just got more and more. I've bought a little bit and then bought a little bit more. So it really is incredibly useful. A little bit of weeding we've had to do. We need to do a little bit more on here. But if you have got anything planted, like I've got my garlic and my onions in here, you do still need to keep them weeded if you can. I know it's not a very glamorous job, the weeding, but if you don't, it can cause all sorts of problems. Obviously they take the water, and it can encourage disease as well if things are too, if the air doesn't get round things properly. So that's the allotment. Let's head up to the house and I'll show you how I chip my potatoes. So we're back home and I'm going to talk about chitting potatoes. I've got 3 varieties here. I've got Kestrel, Tasso and also Charlotte. So 3 different varieties which I've grown before and I really like. Lots of people have asked in how I chip and why do I chip. So I'll start with why do you chip first, and is it essential? It's technically not essential, but the reason we do it is because it gets your potatoes off to a better start. They're more likely to grow better and more successfully, as opposed to if you didn't chip. Also, they often come along a little bit earlier, and I find that really beneficial because sometimes we get potato blight where we are up at the allotment, and I find that if I get them in earlier and they establish more, then I don't get affected as much. And if I was to leave it longer, they would affect it more because blight often gets worse the further we get through the season. So that's why we chip, because it produces, you know, a better potato. Now coming to how we chip. Now here a lot of people getting confused about whether you put it in a light or a dark place. You definitely put it in a light place, but not in direct sunlight. So I chip my potatoes in my conservatory because it's the perfect spot for them. You want to make sure it's cool but frost free. So if I didn't have this spot here, I would probably just choose the coolest room in my house as opposed to putting them outside in a garage or something. I'm not saying that you couldn't put them in a garage or a shed, but you would have to make sure they got light and you would have to make sure they were frost free. And I don't like to take the chance with any vermin getting them either. So for me, I put them in my conservatory. Now I wanted to show you an example as to why you put them somewhere light and not somewhere dark. These are some potatoes I've got left over from last year. And these are the ones I've stored that I've been eating, and these have been in a dark cupboard where I store them. And this is what happens. They sprout too much. When you're chitting, you do not want big long sprouts like that. That doesn't go for healthy plants. What you want are little stumpy shoots. But you know, you don't want big long ones. You can see on these ones they've actually started to shoot already. And you don't actually want them to get a tremendously lot bigger than that. In fact, if that's all they'd sprouted, I wouldn't be too disappointed if I planted them like that. I'm not going to because it's too early. But they'll sprout a little bit more and they'll be like little short dumpy shoots as opposed to big long straggly ones. So the way I put them out, you can put them in egg boxes and that's fine, but as you can see I've got far too many. I have egg boxes everywhere and then I wouldn't necessarily get them labelled up properly. So I use these little shallow trays which work quite well, and I just put a little bit of newspaper in them. One really important thing you must do when you've got your seed potatoes is get them out of the bag straight away. And the reason I say that, and my dad always used to nag me, have you got them out of the bag yet? Because if you leave them in these and they start to shoot, they can become tangled in there, and when you open it up, you'll rip some of the shoots off. So you need to take them out of the bag straight away. So these ones are loose ones, guys. These are the kestrel ones. I haven't got quite so many of those. And it's really very simple. You just lay them out over the tray. It's not difficult at all. You do need to label them up, so I'm going to put a label on that. Unfortunately, this one didn't come with a label because I picked those ones loose. But ones like these, the potatoes, I will make sure that I take the label off and I pop it in the tray that I'm going to put them in, so that I don't. These ones haven't shooted much at all actually, so these ones definitely need to be chitted. Now, generally people chit them about 6 weeks before they're about to plant them. I will start planting mine probably mid to late March, so the beginning of February is the perfect time to be starting to do it. So if you've not already got your potatoes, you kind of need to be going out there, because I had trouble getting the Picassos because they're quite a popular variety, and the first shop I went to had already sold out of Picasso, so I had to go somewhere else to get them. But as you can see, it's not a difficult thing to do. Try not to lay them on top of each other, is one thing I will say. It's a single layered, so you don't want a great big pile of them. So whatever you use to do it with, make sure you've just got a single layer. Same thing really with leaving them in the bag. The last thing you want is for them to get tangled up. So kind of spread them out as evenly as you can. There we go, and then one last bag there. And again, pop your label in there so you know which is which. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching my jobs for February. I'd love to know what jobs you're doing and what you're hoping to do, and tell us what you like best as well. I love to get feedback, and yeah, any questions or queries, please do put them in the comments, and if you've not liked it already, if you could, that would be fantastic.